Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a mystery thriller series called Behind Her Eyes from 2021. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The second episode opens with Louise and Adele drinking coffee in a coffee shop. They're talking about each other. Adele asks Louise about David, and she tells her that he's a good boss. But she has only known him for about a week, so she can't say much. Adele doesn't have any friends here, so she's hoping that Louise will continue talking to her and perhaps meet again. Louise is uncomfortable but smiles anyway. Adele gets a call from David asking where she is and whether she is with someone. Adele lies to him, saying she's alone and having a coffee. Adele goes back to talking with Louise after she's done with the call. Louise tells her that she really has to leave now. Adele understands and requests her to keep this a secret from David because he likes to keep his private life and work life separate. Adele then somewhat forcefully gives Louise her number, and Louise leaves the cafe. She gets a text from Adele right away. The scene changes to Adele in her bedroom painting the walls. A flashback shows Adele and Robert sitting under a tree talking when a nurse comes and informs Adele that David is on the phone to talk to her. Adele jumps off the tree and runs inside to talk. After she leaves, the nurse tells Robert that she had no chance with Adele when she's in love with someone like David. Robert turns around and jokingly says that it doesn't matter because he likes men anyway. Robert then goes to Adele to see what she's talking about with David. Adele tells David about Robert and how she would like them to be friends. Back to the present. David is calling Adele to check whether she's home. They have a small argument, and David hangs up the phone. Adele goes back to painting like a maniac. The scene changes to the deep forest located near Adele's parents' house. Deep inside the forest, a well can be seen. Slowly, we get a view of the inside of the well, and at the bottom, a man's watch can be seen. Adele is now done with the painting, and she goes to the basement. Adele is going through old photos and documents, and she finally finds Robert's old notebook. Inside the notebook, there are some instructions. Pinch myself and say I'm awake once an hour. Look at my hands, count my fingers, look at a clock or watch, look away, look back, stay calm and focused. Flashbacks show Adele and Robert chatting under the tree. Adele is wearing a man's watch, and Robert asks her about it. Adele replies that it's David's watch, and she's wearing it now because he can't wear it. Robert realizes that she loves him a lot. Adele tells him that David also loves her a lot. Robert asks her what it feels like to love or be loved. In the present, David has arrived at the house. He goes upstairs to look for Adele and comes across the painting. Adele asks him about the painting and David is frustrated and upset. He just asks her how she could do this. Meanwhile, Louise is seen dropping Adam off at school. While she's on her way to the office, she gets a text from Adele requesting her to go to the gym with her today. Louise is annoyed by these texts and ignores them. At the office, Sue warns her about David's bad mood. But Louise has to do her job, so she grabs the required files about David's schedule and goes into his room to give them to him. David acts very rudely towards her, and Louise is pissed off. She was just doing her job. She then goes back to her desk and decides to be petty and replies to Adele, accepting her request. Adele is very happy seeing her text. A patient arrives at the clinic for their therapy session with David. The patient, Anthony, seems very agitated, and he denies having any drug addiction. He starts getting more agitated and lashes out at Louise for no reason. Before he can get more extreme, David comes and takes him away for the session. Anthony seems calmer after the session is done. He even agrees to come for another session. After they leave, David tells Louise to include Anthony in his schedule for next week. Nighttime comes and Louise is sleeping. She has the same nightmare again. Her dead mom is in there. Louise also sees Adam getting trapped inside the walls, screaming for her help. By the time Louise wakes up from her sleep, it's already morning. David is now seen leaving for work. Louise also goes to drop Adam off at school. After she comes back home, she does some housework. Adele comes to her house to pick her up for the gym. While Louise is packing her stuff, Adele gives herself a thorough tour of Louise's house. The scene now cuts to Adele and Louise running on the treadmill. Louise is very tired, so she takes a short break. Adele tells her that she has to get used to this because Adele would like to have her as a regular gym buddy. After that, they go to the sauna, and Louise likes it better than the gym. They start chatting about their personal lives. Louise tells her that her whole life revolves around her son. As he will be gone for 1 month, she's just feeling lost now. Adele sympathizes with her and assures her that she'll feel better soon. Louise asks her about her married life. Adele tells her that she has been married since she was 18. Her parents died in a fire, and David saved her from the fire. He He sneaked into their house that day to see Adele and was about to save only her, as Adele lived in a different wing than her parents. This is news to Louise, and she starts feeling sorry for Adele. Adele assures her and asks her to have some food together somewhere, but she looks at the clock and it's almost 2 o'clock. David is supposed to call at 2:30, so she has to be at the house by then. Adele takes Louise home with her to have lunch. Louise is worried about Adele, seeing how she's worried about David being upset if she's not home. Adele assures her that it's okay. After they are done having lunch, Adele gives her Robert's notebook and tells her to use it for her night terrors. She explains that by using this she can control her night terrors, and even control what she sees in her dreams. Louise is grateful to her and takes the notebook. The scene changes to Adam packing his luggage. He's leaving in a few hours. Louise brings him some new swimwear, and Adam thanks her. After packing the luggage, Adam waits for Ian to come. After Adam leaves with Ian, Louise starts sobbing. She goes back to Adam's room and starts cleaning and putting things back in their place. At night, Louise sits on her bed with Robert's notebook and some wine. She's reading Robert's instructions and wondering what kind of person Robert was. Flashbacks show Robert pinching his finger. He writes in his diary that he's not good with patience, and the dreams are getting worse. This place is not helping him, as everyone only cares about themselves, and they're dull. Except for Adele, she takes care of him even though she has problems of her own. So, he decides that he'll get better for Adele. Louise is so deep into Robert's notebook that she gets startled by the sudden knock on her door, and it's David. He tells her that she called in sick today, so he came to check up on her. Louise comes clean that she lied about being sick. It was Adam's last day before he left for France. David understands, and he also tells her he's sorry for acting rudely the other day. Louise tells him it's okay, and seeing him not leaving even after all that talking, she asks him to come inside. After they come inside, they are now seen from a third person's perspective from above. Louise offers him some wine and sits down with him. David expresses that he didn't want to go home. He was wandering around town, and before he knew it, he was in front of her house. David then asks her about the night they met at that bar. Louise tells him that she had good feelings about him, but it didn't turn out well for her anyway. Louise asks him how long he has been married to his wife. David tells her that they have been together forever, but they haven't laughed together for a long time. He keeps thinking about Louise. Louise tells him that it is unfair to his wife. She then goes in front of the door and opens it for David to leave. David gets up to leave, but he makes it clear that he doesn't want to by kissing Louise. But soon he comes to his senses and pushes her away. This time Louise kisses him, and soon enough they start making love in the bed. After a steamy session, David washes himself off and leaves for the night. Louise is feeling like a mess, but she decides to think of this as a drunk mistake. David comes back at the house and Adele wakes up, but she decides to pretend to be asleep when David comes upstairs. That's how today's episode ends. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.